Can you explain the different type of bankruptcy and which one will best fit my situation?
Well, what's best for your situation is really going to depend on the facts of your situation. But let's start with the basics, the different types of bankruptcy. Chapter 7 is what people know mostly. That's the liquidation chapter of bankruptcy. Essentially, you file if you have assets that have significant value that we can't protect, then a trustee is possibly going to look at that to sell, to liquidate, to pay to creditors. It's pretty rare we'd file a Chapter 7 for somebody who did have too much assets. That's generally not what we want to do. There's also Chapter 13, which is known as a reorganization for individuals. That happens sometimes if someone has too much assets. We want to put them in a type of bankruptcy case where their assets are not at risk. But it also may be for someone who needs to reorganize, say, a mortgage payment, or they're too far behind in the mortgage payments and there's a pending foreclosure sale. Through a Chapter 13, we can get them caught up through a 3 or 5 year plan and to have them take a significant amount of time to get caught up with the past due payments, and sometimes even modify the loan. There's other reasons why somebody might be in a Chapter 13. Perhaps the income is too great, or they have some type of priority claim or non-dischargeable claim that we want to pay out over time. But those are the two types of bankruptcies that individuals typically file. There's also a Chapter 11, which people think of as a business bankruptcy, and quite often it is. But there's also some times where individuals will file Chapter 11. A Chapter 11 starts out in most cases as a reorganization, very similar to a Chapter 13, where you come up with a plan about how you're going to pay back something to your creditors. Usually it's not everything, usually it's a few pennies on the dollar, but you're going to pay back something over time. And we come up with a plan about how we do that. They call it a plan of reorganization. Sometimes a Chapter 11 ends up as a plan of liquidation, where we try to sell assets to pay to creditors and we don't try to reorganize. That isn't usually where we start out, but it's sometimes where we end up. There's also a Chapter 12 for farmers, there's Chapter 8 for municipalities, but those aren't things we run into every day. Essentially, it's 7, Chapter 13, and Chapter 11 that we see mostly here in New Jersey. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. This is all I do every day. I love to hear from people. I love to be able to provide assistance and give people some relief and give them some peace of mind. You can give us a call. Our number is 201-490-4777, or the best way to reach us is making an inquiry on our website, www.scurra.com, or you can email us at info@scurra.com.